Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News, coming to you live from the cabin in North Carolina. That's right, it's Bear Country Dave. Just had a video about Rachel Lindsay's reaction to Chris Harrison's new podcast, the most dramatic podcast ever. And for the most powerful recap ever, we're going to jump into Michael's holiday statement. He gives a statement about where he's come in his life, where he is now with his girlfriend, and it's very heartwarming. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nobody has elicited more emotion out of me from the Bachelor franchise than Michael A. telling his story about love lost and now love regained again. It's been like watching your son learn how to ride a bike. You're like, yes, Michael, go, you got it. And you know, when it's your kid, they always like crash into a bush. But with Michael, it's like, okay, you found it. So we're going to get into that. But first, I actually have a few other things I wanted to play for you guys here. I am running with my new audio equipment, and there's some sound issues, so I'm trying my best. Hit the like button if you enjoy Traveling Dave. I wanted to share with you, we're going to rewind a bit, what the She's All Batch podcast had to say about Chris Harrison's new podcast intro and the PR involved. I like a little look at the behind the scenes of the tea, what they think about the launch that's happening. Have a listen.
Welcome to the most dramatic podcast ever. I'm Chris Harrison. It's time. I think it's time we talk. And I was like, whoa, it kind of feels like a scary movie a little bit. Like, what are you about to reveal? And that's where it ends. So, marketing perspective, genius.
Yes.
But
I think this is a situation where the first episode is going to be huge, especially if in that first episode he does address some of the controversy that caused him to go away for 2 years. But I don't know, like, clearly that's not what the whole podcast is going to be about. I think he'll talk about it in the first episode, and then we don't know what he's going to talk about in the episodes to come. But I think it's going to be a situation where everyone's going to tune in for the first one, and like, then what? And then also, he says he's going to address this. I don't know what more there is to say from him. What can he possibly say?
Okay, I completely agree with every single thing you just said. I feel like this is going to be a complete bait and switch. It actually reminded me of Bachelors in the City. When Peter Weber first released his podcast, his first episode was all about how he had sex with Hannah and how he felt after the book. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is this podcast?
Jeez.
This is crazy. And everyone tuned in and probably subscribed. And then like the second episode was like, our 10 favorite bars where dudes like to go to get beer. And it's like, this is not why I signed up. I don't want to.
I love it. I absolutely, first of all, I love the She's All Batch podcast. These ladies, one of the best podcasts that's out there from non-Bachelor alumni. I can't name them all. There's so many good ones because we love Charlene Joint. She's a Bachelor alum. Game of Roses, She's All Batch. Of course, Reality Steve bringing you all of his spoilers. These are the goods. There's such a cool little community here because from the She's All Batch perspective, it might be the top quote-unquote fangirl podcast where they fan over Greg Grippo. They're fans of the show and they can watch from that perspective. And of course we have here Stephanie saying, or was that Jackie? I think it was Stephanie saying that she thinks it's genius the way that Chris Harrison's doing this like teaser of his tea. And as we've talked about with the internet, with any consumption, you need information plus entertainment. You can watch a very informative documentary. It still has to be entertaining on one level or another. You can watch something that's super entertaining, but what information is it giving you? We try to balance that out, and we're going to have to see if Chris Harrison can do that. Once he shares the information about the fallout of his quote-unquote canceling, what will entice people to continue to listen? That's a question he's probably asking himself. My thought would be the best way to handle it would be to continuously drop breadcrumbs and continue to discuss his life now as it reflects to the moments before and after being canceled. You know, maybe he walks into a grocery store differently because he's feeling people are going to look at him a certain way. Is his legacy, did it take a shift? Now, these are all honest questions to ask. I'd be interested to hear about how his relationship and all other aspects of his life relate to this pivotal moment in his life. Audiences might say, we don't care, just go off in your piece, but this is his story and he's allowed to write it given the information he has now. So it'll be interesting to see if he is someone who, no, of course, his podcast is going to hit the ground running real hard. Will he continue with information different than the tea that he has from his ousting? All right, taking a shift here, let's go to Michael. So here's what Michael had to say regarding, I called it his Christmas or his holiday statement, because during the holidays we have a chance to kind of, reevaluate what we're doing with our life, where we're going moving forward, what was the most impressive part of the year. I've said this on my Facebook this week, the most impressive part of my year from a business standpoint, the most impressive personal thing is that I actually got married, which was amazing. The wedding was just unbelievable. It's encouraged me and reminded me to try to get to see my family more often. And as my family has grown, as here I am at a cabin with Tasha's family, which is mine now. It's a humbling moment to say, all right, what are the priorities in life? How important is it to be focusing on career things when the family's right there? All this. But my most important professional accomplishment is getting 140 million with an M, 140 million watch minutes on my YouTube channels this year, with over 18 million views. So thank you guys so much. This isn't no TikTok where you get 40 million views and you don't build a follower from it. You guys are loyal. You guys listened to 140 million minutes of me talking, which could stretch around the globe many, many times. So thank you guys so much. It's humbling. I appreciate it. That's the biggest professional stat I can think of, and I appreciate that. All right, here's what Michael has to say. We've milked it long enough. The old barrel scraping Dave. Actually, we have 2 more videos after this. So even though we're scraping the barrel, there's a lot of barrel to be scrope it. The best gifts are often the ones we never knew we needed. I'm so lucky to have found you when I did. Entirely unexpected, you entered my life at a time when I needed it most. It's true that love isn't fair, and yet it's generous if we allow it. I'm grateful for all we've shared this year and excited for all that awaits us in the future. Here's to hope. Here's to second chances. Here's to receiving all of life's unexpected gifts with an open mind and open heart. Thank you, Danielle, for giving me something to believe in and for being the greatest gift I never knew I needed. How inspirational is that to hear from Michael, who, of course, as we know, lost his wife to cancer just several short years ago. He went on Katie's season. He self-eliminated. Obviously, his sort of bond with Katie wasn't, greater than his need to go back home to his son. And he received criticism for going on Bachelor in Paradise because, as an audience, we suck. Why are you doing that? We do it. I mean, understand. Why are you leaving your kids? I was with you guys. Why are you doing it? And then we realize, well, there are greater opportunities out there that can help your family. And Michael chose to go on the beach to maybe, find out if there's someone out there for him. Danielle shows up. Danielle, her fiance, I believe he was her fiance. I don't think they were married yet. Died of an overdose several years earlier, or actually a while longer. So they both have gone through grief and are grieving, and yet found each other. And of course, their relationship's more than they're grieving for each other, or grieving. But there is an understanding there. There is an understanding how much they know their worlds were rocked, and yet. And we remember this going into 2023, as much as your world may be rocked, as much as you might have a hard time picking up all the pieces, or, you're the puzzle piece of life, you got smashed and now you can't find all the pieces. How do I do this? How do I do that? Just know if you keep putting it all back together, it might not look the same as it did before, but it'll be even more beautiful. So congratulations to Michael and Danielle as they continue on that journey. And a couple other notable shout outs I wanted to give. I'm going to not play the audio of this reel because it might be copywritten. But this is Demi. Of course, we know Demi's had her struggles like everyone else has. Went on her podcast this year and got a chance to really get to know her. And Demi has come out with talking about her autism and being on the spectrum and dealing with or coping with the different ways. In the last year, she got sober, gave up alcohol, and that unmasked a lot of the other issues that she had. She was coping with her autism, or didn't know she had autism while she was an alcoholic or drinking. I don't know if she said she's an alcoholic, but drinking. And in getting sober, she's realized all these other ththings. I actually didn't get to see her when I went to the Hollywood ball, the holiday ball a couple weeks ago. But I really had hoped I would. I didn't run into her. I got there late, and I think she had already left. But here's what she had to say about what's going on with her. She said, I scheduled a photo shoot with a user on Instagram. We met beforehand to discuss ideas and location. I was so hesitant on the location because I really don't want to leave the house. so she created a safe space on the roof. I'm sorry, I can't read it. I can't read it. So actually, she said the time spent taking the photos was kept to a minimum. Here's some of the photos. And again, you can go watch the reel. Sorry, my eyesight's bad. Just beautiful images that she had taken here. New haircut, doing her thing. Just absolutely fun stuff. You get to see her personality. So look, we know Demi's been struggling like we all have. Some of us internally and not sharing it with others, and some of us more openly. Demi's the type that's going to tell you how she feels. She's talked about losing her followers, losing her source of income, which is Instagram. And my hope for Demi is that she's able to find the right medium that helps her tell her story, because it's one worth listening to. Her mom's coming home from prison this week, I believe, maybe today, and I'm not the type that's like pray for so and so, but I do send a lot of positive energy to Demi that she's probably closer to figuring it all out than she thinks, and in that process we just root her on. We root you on, Demi. Okay, let's see if there's anything else we want to get to here as we sort of cover the different stories in Bachelor. Oh, I wanted to end with this one. This was posted by Suatism and then reshared by Dancing House. I thought of this because I thought maybe I could do this with my power recapping. But here is a guy who is DJing, a mobile DJ station. Let's see if I can build this for maybe I'll go to a Bachelor event as a mobile podcaster and I'll just interview people on the street.
I'm telling you, you're not to go into the parade, or you're liable to be searched and arrested.
What am I liable to be searched and arrested for?
You
don't know, do you?
Keep going.
You don't know. This is Suat in the parade right now. I think we can just walk straight in there without permission. Let's just own it, lead in as if you're meant to be there, and we'll just rock it from there. Would I be right in saying I can't walk down there? Should I just walk in with them? I'm just going to try and walk in. Can I come in with you? They just let me in.
No, you
just told me it's fine.
No, you got to come out.
Guys! Guys on the bridge, hi! Guys, it's just music! Just smile for this thumbnail.
He goes, guys, it's just music.
Stay for the ride, because we're going to get back inside. Guys, it's just music! It's just music!
I'm telling you, you're not to go into the parade.
Oh, how funny. How funny. You can't get, what do they call, bobbies? Is that what you call cops in England, bobbies? Either way, they were doing their job, but of course, I'm sure they didn't feel any risk that he was going to hurt them and he was teasing them. So kind of harmless there. But yeah, what was he doing wrong? I mean, he's filming himself. You're allowed to film yourself. I don't know the rules of English mobile DJ systems. Maybe you could hit him for a noise violation. I'm not sure. Either way, I think we need to find a way to make up my mobile recap studio look like that. All right, folks, I got 2 more videos coming your way. We're going to wrap it all up with a Bachelor Rush Hour later today. If you didn't catch yesterday's Bachelor Rush Hour, I gave it from my real mobile studio over in the Centurion Lounge in Charlotte Airport in North Carolina, and we're going to have the Bachelor Rush Hour podcast today. It gave me a little bit more insight as to what we're doing on our travels here during the Christmas holiday, and we'll wrap it up with sharing some of these pieces of content for you. So if you want to catch all of this content that you maybe only caught a video or two, go to Bachelor Rush Hour. I piece it all together every single day. That's the greatest gift you can give me, is to spend some more time in helping me build the podcast. All right, folks, we'll be back with more content right after this.